Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with another episode review. This time for Beheneko, the elf girl cat is secretly an S-class behemoth. Episode 3 was kind of interesting. It was pretty bare bones adventure. To start off with, this episode covers chapters 10 and about halfway of chapter 15, just to give an idea. And it started off like right at the end of episode 2. So if you wanted to read ahead and like, okay, let's go ahead, just go to chapter 10, you'll be good. It's mostly accurate. There's a lot more details to discuss. There's a big detail that I do want to discuss that I think would clarify some stuff, like would kind of give some levity. I don't know. We'll talk about it. So to give a little bit of summary, after the end of beginning of episode 3, we get introduced to we hear about the monster. We hear about the monsters attacking a village, and we are meet with a hero of Ragnarok, Cedric Lewin, who is a who's flaming. He has a thing for Arya, the tavern keeper. They like to play a little pitch and catch. He's probably the pitcher, I would assume. Based off some theories, but anyway, he tells he's at the inn. He recruits Vulcan and Arya to his little squadron, former members of the Heroes of Ragnarok. The main guy, Archmage, we'll talk a little bit in just a sec, but he's left the party for reasons that do not get discussed. But anyway, we meet the little cast of band of troopers. We meet Howard, the Lizard Man, Danny, the kind of Vanguard. I'll talk about him a little bit in a minute. Kenny and Marietta. They're just a nice, fun group of adventurers. They're from the former Heroes of Ragnarok, and they're wanting to do this adventure. They're good natured people. So, and that's a little. That's actually after, I forgot to mention. It's right after. It's the following morning after Cedric recruits the Vulcan and Arya. She gives our main character Tama a kiss on the lips, so that'd be like his first kiss, and then following that afterwards we get the party introductions. They travel on the way. The kitty gets some booby action, and then we finally get to the little hotel area. They talk about their little bit backstories. Danny's backstory is kind of interesting. That in the manga that's left out. Like, my family owed money. Like, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And I think it's a little bit more interesting. But pretty much everybody else is the same. But there's a really big detail that is left out. I think should have been shown, and they should have put this in and cut out an aspect later on. And that is, we found out the Archmage is the one who got Cedric's sister pregnant. So the reason the party kind of disbanded a little bit and why Vulcan left is because Cedric's sister got banged, which was not mentioned. And she's also the one who taught the Archmage how to use the staff. So that's a bit funny. And the reason I bring this up is Cedric is a bit of dark boy. He likes to kill. He likes it a bit rough. And we find out later that when he battled against the demons, that he's used this dark sword and uses dark magic. And my impression was that something happened between him and the Archmage. Like there was some kind of disagreement, something bad happened. But in reality, he probably got the magic because he's like, hey, I knocked up your sister. We're gonna be happy together. As a parting gift, I'll give you something to be the leader. My apologies, sort of shtick. I think there's a little bit more humorous. We probably will learn this later on, but I felt like this should have been included rather than seeing that later on. So the big fan service. So after they had their good meal, it's time to lavish up. It's time to go to the hot springs and get a nice soaking bath. And we see all the ladies and their beautiful boobies, including Vulcans for the first time. Although in the anime, Vulcan feels a little uncomfortable getting naked around Tama, our little cat friend. just doesn't feel right, even though she's not like interested. I don't know. Like, why are you concerned about this? But regardless of the fact that they have some fun, the ladies decide to fondle Arya because she doesn't like having big boobs. They are aching her muscles, and of course, Howard and Danny hear this, and they decide we're men. We're gonna rush in and we're gonna get some action because they're having way too much fun, and we gotta see these ladies naked. Well, of course, Tom the Kitty spots them and uses Hal and blasts them back to their own hot springs. A little bit of amusing with that. From there, we enter the temple. They battle some monsters. Thomas shows off his acidic water that kills some werewolves that are heavily armored. And of course, Arya's like, when you get big and strong, I hope you'll pin me down and do bad things. And she kind of says it under her breath, like, Master's grown, but in other places, not so much. So, who knows? But then we get, after that engagement, we get to the main villain, Astaroth. He's a demon from the Remnant's last army, and he kind of basically the plot of Pokemon Gold and Silver. He kind of fills that role of that villain. He wants to resurrect their big name and continue. He wants to resurrect the demon army, and this party will be the basis to how he gets going. Makes a bit of strategic idea in that separating the party, but he does it in a way that doesn't make sense. So Vulcan and Arya are in one group. The cat's alone with 4 of this A-class trolls, and then Danny and Cedric and Marietta and Kenny, they're all left with like two A-class trolls. It's like, why did you separate them as they are? Like you should have divided a little bit more, but also like, I mean, Cedric is probably a well-known name, probably knows about him. Like you should have separated him. Like you should have separated him alone with having more orcs. The placement seemed weird. Like the priority was on the cat rather than him, which kind of made no sense. I don't know. Seemed a bit weird, but the cat fights the trolls, realizes that their recovery ability is really good. Well, that becomes a bit of an issue, and in order to solve that, he burns them. In the meantime, Arya and Vulcan challenge Astaroth. They beat him, but at a great cost. That Arya gets poisoned, and they're taken to the hospital. And this is the part that I wish was glossed over, like the part with Astaroth. The Archmage part. I wish they would have cut this short, not stick out, and then focused on the like Archmage banging Cedric's sister, get a little bit more detail, and even like more character development for Dan, like give him a little bit more of his backstory. I felt like the scene, the only way to cure is because of this Earth Dragon. I wish they had spent less time on that and just on the more character aspect. But following that, Tama realizes, I need to go save my master. I know what to do. He flies away and goes to the dungeon where he met the Earth Dragon from episode 1. And if this costs me my life, I don't care. But he decides he's going to evolve into his secondary form. And just at the very end is like they kind of about ready to battle. I think that should have kind of maybe waited a little bit. Like, okay, we get the backstory. Maybe they could have had the scene at the end, but we should have saved the evolution for maybe the next part. Maybe just the animators could have been a lot more put their talents to work and make the start of episode 4 about him evolving, and then the battle would be really epic. I don't know. I think I would have preferred that better. But so overall, it's not a bad episode, but it kind of felt just by the bones for me. I do want to see episode 4 and see where this is going, but I'm losing interest. I don't know. I think I'll stick to it to the end because it's not like painful. I'm not actually bored, and it's still enjoyable. But yeah, the fan service and just kind of the by the number story is like, okay. I don't know. The fan service is not really holding up for me. It's like I kind of like more of the what the cat's going to do primarily. I think he's the more interesting aspect, and that's what's going to keep me to watch kind of his development. But with that, I'm going to end the episode here. Hopefully, you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys next time for episode 4 coming next week. If you like the channel, like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys next time.